Gravitic anomalies detected. Commander Thera's life signal locked on. She is inside the temple.
Prepare the sacrifice. The beast approaches.
Alert. Unknown entity approaching.
everybody. I'm just going to make a quick video of how to fill a butane torch. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, do I really need to be shown how to fill a butane torch? And I say yes. Yes, you do. If you don't fill butane torches on a regular basis, I use this guy for bruleeing food and cigars, all right? It first a lot of the compressed air in here because butane settles at the bottom, okay? And the air rises to the top because butane's heavier. So a lot of people say purge it first, and I'm like, that's absolutely ridiculous in my mind. Now, who knows? Maybe they're right. But what I've found is I have no way of knowing how much fuel is in here. And if I want to do 30 creme brulees and I want this full, and who knows how full this is, it might be half full, 3/4 full, all right? I'm not going to waste 3/4 of an ounce of fuel, right, just to top it up. So what you got to do is just release the pressure because you'll be adding new gas, okay? That's pressurized. So the problem is if you just slam this in here, okay, and fill it up with fuel, you're adding even more pressure, right, to the cylinder. So right now, say if this is half full of fuel, say if we can see right in here, if you release the pressure of the gas, the butane level will actually drop. Thus, you'll be able to put more gas in, all right? Let's release the pressure, all right, to this lighter, because we're gonna be adding more pressure to this lighter. And let's just purge it a little bit. Now you can hear the compressed air escaping. And that should be good, all right? Now, you'll notice my containers are upside down, right? Because we want the gas, all right, the butane to settle. We don't want to shake this up and down and do a bunch of craziness, right? Because we want butane in here. There's going to be gas, pressurized gas anyways, but we want as much butane as possible, right? As soon as you shake this up, there's going to be air bubbles and all that craziness, all right? So I'm trying not to disturb this container as much as possible, all right? And now I'm just going to fill it until it just escapes the top here. That's probably good right there. You can almost hear the air rushing to the top and escaping, but it's not filled all the way because you don't want to necessarily fill it all the way either. You still want a little bit of pressurized gas to help this along. So let's give it a light and see if it works, all right?
What's up everybody, Master Chiefy here, and today I'll be showing y'all how to refill your butane lighter. So first things first, what you want to do is any lighter you have is going to have a little hole thing on the bottom. So what you want to do, grab a poker tool. I have a bleeding katana over here, and what I'm going to be doing is I'll be bleeding the device. So for example, you take the gun lighter, it could be a kitchen torch as well, any fucking lighter works. And then what you want to do is you want to find that spot and then press it. I'm going to use this one for that actually. If I can refill the other two already. Ooh. And you release the butane. Make sure all of it is get fucking released. And then once it's all released, take your thing and refill it. Your butane. What's up everybody, Master Chiefy here, and today I'll be showing y'all how to
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm a consumer support specialist. Ask how to
Common question, and it's really an easy process. So we have our MagTorch butane here with us, and we have several MagTorch butane torches. Each one of these, as you can see on the bottom, has a refill port. They're all a little bit different, but each one has that same or similar refill port on the bottom. And so to refill, simply remove the cap from the MagTorch butane and take the torch, hold it upside down, line the butane vertically, and then just push down. And you saw that little bit of vapor that came out? That actually says the torch is now full.
Okay, great. I know they ask about that too. When there's a little bit of spillage, they worry, did I do it properly? But it's great to know that yes, you did.
Yeah,
properly.
exactly. That's the indication, like I said, that the torch is full. If there's any excess that spills over, you obviously just wipe it off,
Okay.
paper towel, on your hands if anything. But there's no issue with that, and that shows us that the, like I said, the torch is full.
I did notice in the cap there's different tips.
Right.
For the different torches.
Yeah, so with the MagTorch brand, they're all the same.
Okay.
But then, if you have a different brand of butane torch, there may be slightly different port on the bottom, slightly different size. So the advantage of MagTorch butane, like you said, has the different adapters that you can just take out of here and put on the can, and it'll match up perfectly to a different brand of torch.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate the lesson.
For sure, yeah, thank you.
For more information, go to magtorch.com.
Oh, hi there. My name is Dale, and welcome back to another episode of Gear Up with Greg's. Today, we're going to be finding our fire with Bernzomatic's line of torches. But as always, we want to focus on safety first. Okay, maybe I went a bit overboard with the safety gear. However, there are some things you'll want to think about before you use a torch. And lucky for you, there's an easy way to remember what you'll need to do in order to have a safe experience with Bernzomatic torches. It's the acronym FUEL. Follow, use, empty, and light. Follow the product labels and instructions and read any safety warnings before use. Use appropriate safety gear and clothing, including protective gloves and safety glasses. Empty the work area of dust, cobwebs, and any other flammable debris. And finally, light. Light your torch only in well-ventilated areas and away from pilot lights, flames, sparks, or any other sources of heat. Easy, right? Let's start by talking about the Trigger Start torch. This torch is designed for a wide range of jobs, including soldering or brazing large diameter copper pipes, heat treating, and light welding. The large, optimized swirl design tip ensures your flame burns hot and efficiently for maximum heat output and fast soldering times. The automatic start and stop ignition lights and extinguishes the flame with a push of a button, while a locking button
If you've been dabbing for some time, but aren't sure if you're doing it properly, you reached the right video. Today we're going over everything you'll need and the proper way to use your dab rig and quartz finger. Hey guys, my name is Naquan, also known as Cannabis Curls on Instagram. I'm here with the Bugsby team, and today we're going to get right into what you'll need to take the perfect dab. Alright guys, some of the essentials are going to be our dab rig from Yo Dabba Dabba with our banger and terp pearls, which are optional but are great for distributing the medicine evenly, as well as our terp cap, which goes right on top of the banger, a dab tool, as well as our medicine from Columbicare. We have different options today. We also need a butane lighter, a terp timer, which is used for temperature and time, and as well as our cleaning supplies of rubbing alcohol, the higher percent the better, and some cleaning Q-tips. All right, now that everything's ready in front of us, let's get started with the first step. Let's talk about temperature. So there's a difference between high temp and low temp. High temp would be anywhere from 600 to 750 Fahrenheit, and low temp would be from 600 and 500 Fahrenheit. Usually we recommend people to play around because it takes time and experience to find out what you really like, but the difference would be really preference, but it really comes down to the experience of the dab. If you are consuming a concentrate like a live resin, maybe you would want to use a low temp dab to really taste and enjoy those terps. As in, with a high temp dab, you're gonna feel it more in the back of your throat or maybe hit you in the back of the head. It's gonna hit you really hard, but it just comes down to preference. So let's go ahead and get right into it. This is your butane lighter, and always remember where you're keeping it for safety purposes, whether it's on or off. There's a few ways to gauge the temperature of your dab. One of the ways would be using a stopwatch. And you can do that by setting a stopwatch to track your heat up and your cool down time. Based on your preference, you can wait a shorter amount of time if you prefer a hotter temp dab, or if you prefer a cooler temp dab, you can wait just a little bit longer to really feel that flavor and terpene profile. The second option could be a conventional laser thermometer, or there are a lot of different products specifically made for dabbing to gauge the temperature of your banger. Today, we're gonna be using the terp timer. You can either place it directly under the banger or on the side as long as the laser is pointed somewhere in the center. The next step is to heat up your banger using your butane torch. You're gonna wanna heat up the bottom of your banger evenly for 30 to 60 seconds. The time varies based on the thickness and shape of your banger. If you notice that your banger is getting black, that's also a good sign that it's getting way too hot, so please let it sit. If not, it's gonna hit the back of your throat and you're not gonna like it. All right guys, quick disclaimer, always be careful with your butane torches, and when it's hot, please try to keep it in the same spot and point it away from you. Be careful. Now you're gonna use a stopwatch or a thermometer to keep track of the temperature of your banger. I'm gonna aim the laser at the side of the banger, and I'm gonna wait for the terp timer to go off at my desired temperature. While we wait for the banger to cool down, it's a great time to actually grab your dab tool and portion out your medicine. Once you reach your desired temperature, you're gonna grab your dab tool, you're gonna directly drop it in the middle of the banger, and while you're slowly inhaling, you're gonna immediately after place your carb caps on top of the banger, and you're gonna continue to slowly inhale. And then you will see the terp pearls continue to spin and spread your medicine evenly throughout the banger. Whenever you're ready to clear the rig, all you have to do is remove the carb cap slowly while continuing to inhale until all the smoke is clear from the rig. Now that I've walked you through each step, you're gonna watch me take a dab. Run the B-roll. If you notice any leftover medicine inside your banger, you can actually reheat the banger for 3 to 5 seconds so you don't waste any medicine. If you're reheating your banger and your notice is turning black, it means that you're reheating for too long. If you're not getting hit, it means you're not heating up for long enough. When you're done reheating, it's time to clean the banger so you're ready to use it next time. Yes, you need to clean your banger after every hit. There are products out on the market specifically made to clean your banger, such as the dab sponge or special Q-tips made to help prevent cotton threads left in your banger. All right, let's jump right into it. So today we're gonna be cleaning our banger with some Q-tips and some rubbing alcohol. The higher the percent, the better. Grab a Q-tip. Either side is fine, just lightly dip it in some alcohol. You wanna bring it over to your dirty banger, and you wanna do some circular motions all around, up and down. You also wanna clean the walls all around the banger. After you do that, you wanna flip the Q-tip over on the dry end and do the same thing. Circular motions up and down and dry the walls. After that, you're gonna want to grab another Q-tip and do the same thing for your dab tool. Lightly dip it in some alcohol, don't drench it. Just grab your dab tool, lightly scrub it to remove any excess medicine, flip it over, and then dry it. Then you can put it down and you're good to go. When your banger is completely clean, you're ready to repeat the process and take another dab. Let's go over some important tips we learned today. So number 1, always start with a clean banger. Number 2, make sure you're taking the right temperature dabs by using a stopwatch or a thermometer. Number 3, always keep everything within reach so you're never scrambling for items. Number 4, always use a dab mat to keep your area clean and prevent your glass from sliding around. Number 5, don't heat the banger too much when reheating, a little goes a long way. Number 6, don't wait too long to clean your banger after every hit. If it cools down too much, you'll struggle to get it off. So that's it today. Hopefully you've learned something new today that's helped you elevate your dab taking experience. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more cannabis content. If you have any other dabbing tips to share, drop them below so we can learn from each other. Let us know in the comments below what else you'd like to learn. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you here next time.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Dr. Andrioni, aka The Cannabis Doc. If you've been using cannabis for a while, then I'm sure you've heard of concentrates or you know what they are to some degree. However, this is still one of the most common topics I'm asked about by new patients and new cannabis users. Hey doc, what are concentrates? How many types are there? I can certainly see why though. There are so many different forms, consistencies, compositions, and names. Batter, butter, wax, shatter, rosin, hash. I'll be here all night, thank you. It's kind of hard to keep track. In addition, there are some other intricacies and details that you need to be wary of, like the various kinds of devices and how they work, the temperature ranges that you want to stick within, etc. Basically, new patients be like, bruh. Because concentrates are rapidly becoming a preferred way to use cannabis, it's important that we go over them. So, roll a J, pour some coffee, get comfortable, and get ready to learn a thing or two. In today's video, we're going to be breaking everything down about cannabis concentrates. So to start, what are concentrates? Concentrates are the refined, more potent form of marijuana that's derived from the cannabis flower that we know and love. Concentrates are made by using a process called extraction, which isolates and removes all the essential compounds from the flower and leaves us with an oil or resin. This resin is then processed and refined a little further via dewaxing, purging, distillation, drying, sifting, and pressing into a variety of the final products that we know as concentrates. As the name suggests, concentrates are very strong. They're concentrated. It contains super high amounts of the bioactive compounds like the cannabinoids, the flavonoids, and the terps, but in a super small volume. Just to compare and contrast flower to concentrates, typically when you go to the dispos in Florida, you'll see the flower range anywhere from 10 to 35% THC content, and the terps anywhere from 1 to 2, maybe 3% on a good day. Whereas with concentrates, you see anywhere from 50 to 90% THC content and anywhere from like 4 to 8% terps. It's a pretty big difference. So you really don't need that much of it to feel the effects. If you want a good analogy comparing the two, smoking flower is like having a beer, whereas using concentrates or dabbing is like taking a shot. Well, and then the resulting effects of the concentrates, since they're inhaled, hit you much quicker than alcohol would, but you get the idea. No matter how it's consumed, concentrates will provide stronger effects than flower. Which means if you're using high THC concentrate, which let's be real, that's mostly what we see in the dispensaries, it will definitely get you higher than flower will. But again, let's be real. Most users seeking high THC concentrates know this and use these for this reason. The easiest way to distinguish between the types of concentrate is to understand the methods of extraction. There are two main categories of extracting concentrates. There's the solvent-based method, and then there's the solventless or non-solvent method. Let's first take a look at the solvent-based extractions. If you walk into any Florida dispensary today, solvent-based extractions are the majority of concentrates that you'll see. I would say anywhere from 60 to 80% of the concentrates on the shelves are solvent-based. Some examples that I'm sure you've heard of before are wax, crumble, batter, butter, shatter, live resin. Well, technically they're all resins, but I digress. And we'll get to what being live means shortly. There are a couple groups of chemical solvents that are commonly used for solvent-based extraction. There are the hydrocarbons like propane and butane, which honestly are probably the most common because of their cost and effectiveness. Have you ever heard of BHO or PHO? BHO or butane hash oil is the oil that's produced after using butane as the solvent, and then PHO or propane hash oil is the oil that's produced after using propane as the solvent. There's also alcohols like ethanol, methanol, and then some other organic solvents. And then there's CO2 or supercritical CO2. So how do they do it? Well, the process seems complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. Let's say we got a big old half pound of flour right here. This extraction method uses one of the chemical solvents that we just mentioned. For this example, let's say propane. As far as the setup's concerned, this is where the propane is stored, or the solvent. This is where the plant material is stored. And then the extract is collected over here in these tanks for further processing. The extraction is done by pushing propane under high pressures and low temperatures through the column that has the plant material to flush and strip away all the cannabinoids, the terpenoids, the flavonoids, etc. The propane slowly passes through the plant material, saturates it, and then dissolves all the trichomes as it's pushed through the tube. So it strips away all the good stuff that we do want while leaving the stuff that we don't want. All the plant material remains behind in that previous cylinder while all the solvent and solute are collected. Now, this primary process can be done one of two ways. One, there's the safer way, which is basically the industry standard, by using a closed loop system in a level 1 laboratory. And that's basically the example that we just saw. And then two, if you're old school or you don't necessarily have the funds to actually get a closed loop system like that, which, don't get me wrong, I know it's hard out here for a pimp and I support you, don't ever give up, then you were probably using the open blasted method or the open blast technique, which basically is open and you're shooting flammable gas through the flower to let all the oil collect via gravity at the bottom. This resulting oil is technically called crude oil because it contains all the other parts of the plant that we probably don't want, like the chlorophylls, the waxes, etc., that are normally removed in a more professional setting in the later stages. Apparently, you should not try this at home because chemical solvents are super flammable. This avoids any risk of fire, explosion, or any kind of Breaking Bad stuff. But anyway, back to the closed loop system. After the solvent has been run through the flour, the resulting solution is referred to as slurry. This slurry contains both the cannabinoids and terpenes as well as any remaining residual solvent.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So we have to remove that residual solvent by a process called purging. Purging can be done through a variety.
If you've been dabbing for some time, but aren't sure if you're doing it properly, you reached the right video. Today we're going to temperature and be anywhere from really like, but the difference as in with your throat or maybe hit you in the back of the head, it's going to hit you really hard, but it just comes down to preference. So let's go ahead and get right into it. This is your butane.
We got a little bit of Dolato. A concentrate tease to dabbing, which I like to say. Enjoy it and everything is amazing. Concentrates out in the game. Like dabbing, it's the real flavor temperature. You've probably heard a horror story of a dab. Destroys your lungs, it's unpleasant, like it's pretty much the opposite of the reason you take a dab. Something like this from Octave, a terp timer, will pretty much solve that problem for you. It'll make sure that you get the perfect dab every single time. So after you're done heating it up, you just place it right under the terp timer, and this is a big thing. A lot of people ask me what temperature I use. I usually go in between 500 and 600. 600's on the high temp for sure, especially if you're smoking some crazy hash that burns at a low temperature. You can see a close-up of what we're smoking on the screen right now. It's insane. Dab tool, temperature is 560. Really just anything below 600 is good. You don't want to be burning your shit. Cheers.
If you've been dabbing for some height, usually we recommend people to play around because it takes time for safety purposes, whether it's on or off. There's a few ways to gauge the temperature of your dab. One of the ways would be using a stopwatch. And you can do that by setting a stopwatch to track your heat up and your cool down time. Based on your preference, you can wait a shorter amount of time if you prefer a hotter temp dab, or if you prefer a cooler temp dab, you can wait just a little bit longer to really feel that flavor and terpene profile. The second option could be a conventional laser thermometer, or there are a lot of different products specifically made for dabbing to gauge the temperature of your banger. Today, we're going to be using the terp timer. You can either place it directly under the banger or on the side as long as the laser is pointed somewhere in the center. The next step is to heat up your banger using your butane torch. You're going to want to heat up the bottom of your banger evenly for 30 to 60 seconds. The time varies based on the thickness and shape of your banger. If you notice that your banger is getting black, that's also a good sign that it's getting way too hot, so please let it sit. If not, it's going to hit the back of your throat and you're not going to like it. Alright guys, quick disclaimer, always be careful with your butane torches, and when it's hot, please try to keep it in the same spot and point it away from you. Be careful. Now you're going to use a stopwatch or a thermometer to keep track of the temperature of your banger. I'm going to aim the laser at the side of the banger, and I'm going to wait for the terp timer to go off at my desired temperature. While we wait for the banger to cool down, it's a great time to actually grab your dab tool and portion out your medicine. Once you reach your desired temperature, you're going to grab your dab tool, you're going to directly drop it in the middle of the banger, and while you're slowly inhaling, you're going to immediately after place your carb cap on top of the banger, and you're going to continue to slowly inhale. And then you will see the terp pearls continue to spin and spread your medicine evenly throughout the banger. Whenever you're ready to clear the rig, all you have to do is remove the carb cap slowly while continuing to inhale until all the smoke is clear from the rig. Now that I've walked you through each step, you're going to watch me take a dab. Run the B-roll. If you know, the second option could be a conventional laser thermometer. Track your heat up and your cool down time. Based on your preference, you can wait a shorter amount of time if you prefer a hotter temp dab, or if you prefer a cooler temp dab, you can wait just a little bit longer to really feel that flavor and terpene profile. The second option could be there's a few ways to gauge the temperature of your dab. One of the ways would be using a stopwatch. And you can do that by setting a stopwatch to track your heat up and your cool down time. Based on your preference, you can wait a shorter amount of time if you prefer a hotter temp dab, or if you prefer a cooler temp
I won't be fixing everything, and because there is always something to fix, today I'll show you how lighter. Unfortunately, it's a bit low, and when I tilt it, it's just not catching any gas, so it needs gas. Now, it's very easy to fill it up when you know how, because if you try like this, nothing is going to happen. Yeah, there is a few simple steps that you need to follow. Using normal regular metal tip, no attachments. Yeah, this is the lighter, normal back of the lighter. Yeah, they're all the same, most of them. Yeah, you need this one to be hot. Yeah, and this one to be cold. If this one is being under the sun and this one is being somewhere cold, it's not really going to work. Now this one is transparent, so I think it's gonna be a lot easier for us to see what's going on. This, yeah, sits upside down. This one sits upside down. Very important. Is open, and what you don't want to breathe it, you don't want your face around it. Now I'll just press here, work down, and you can see how it's filling up. Can you see? Yeah, and release. Now we'll tilt it again, tilt it again, tilt, 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 and again, release, tilt, and again. I think this is the maximum that it will get because of the can. Yeah, I'll just warm it up a little bit more, and again, that's it. It's full now. Now, just to make sure there is no gas around it, now we'll give it a try. Perfect. That's how to fill up your lighter. I hope the video is helpful to you, and I'll see you on to the next one. Bye bye.
Niggas around me that spit around where your grandma be. Come fall on me, we gon' slide with 10 apiece. They stick on the dumb ass, we can't go to Maury. Put up on a break like Dory, and I popped out just like a monster. I need to be in the 40s, I need to be in the Forbes. Letting that bitch in the past, and I know she mad than the bitch I know it. Slide through scoring, slide through scoring. All my diamonds wet, they look like they can't straight out of porn. She wanna fuck cause my aura. I do lots of Zans and I do lots of dumb stuff. I had not recorded in a minute, I've been on fun stuff. Who I been on one? None of these bitches can get me cause they can't take care of their son. Know that bitch be pretty, so I'm like, fuck, they give me one. I get to walk in the beat, bitches, lit Jace for 1200. I get the finger fucking on a Drake, take his that down for the money. I'm back in that mode, bitch. Oh, he wanna die about that bitch. I threw slides about that bitch. Wait, whoa. You know I get on your ass. You know I kill you. I'll leave you right there. I'll leave you right fucking there, boy. And you know how this shit get. You know what it is with me and everybody. He's like, I'm on that cigarette, calm my nerves. Counting that money like nerd. No, I am not finna beef with that boy, cause that boy had came from the burbs. Spend that money, I splurge. Bitch, I'm on that verse. Run that car like Derby. My money came in first. My honest just wanna eat me up, so I told that bitch my dirt. I said about 300, so I see what think I'm little dirt. No, I be getting that money. If you try to rob me, yeah, get murdered. We get that low and purge. We that spin around where your grandma be. Come fall on me, we gon' slide with 10 apiece. They stick on my dumb ass, we can't go to Maury. Put up on a break like Dory, and I popped out just like a monster. I need to be in the Forbes, I need to be in the Forbes. Letting that bitch in the past, and I know she mad than the bitch I know it. Slide through scoring, slide through scoring. All my diamonds wet, they look like they can't straight out of porn. She wanna fuck cause my aura. I just, hey, you know what I'm doing. You know what it is, hey, I've been out of the way, you know, and I know you miss me, you know, if you cross that line, you gon' die, yeah, I'll do the same thing, I'ma always do it, I'ma talk that shit, at the end I make your bitch ass listen to it, you know, I'ma count that money, make your bitch ass watch it, I'ma drop that money, make your bitch ass grab it, I'ma post that shit, make your bitch ass count it, you know, I'ma do all that shit, I'ma do everything for you, I'ma do everything to make your bitch ass mad, and you know I'ma keep on gon' get money, and I'ma keep spending, hey. You can keep everybody, you keep that bitch, I don't wanna, hey. She don't even wanna make time for me, but she gon' always find a time to lie to me, but she like Jason, need you up beside of me. I be knowing she ain't gonna ride for me, but at least stay down to keep riding me. I got the whole room in slow motion. She tryna keep it down the pillow, she keep holding on it. And any other little nigga ain't got no motion. You would never find a nigga like this, yeah. You would never find a rapper like this. When you coming back, we ain't fucked in a minute. I'ma put her back in the truck that I'm in. And that slut check, put a slut check, whoa. I'ma put her back in the truck that I'm in. I'ma put her back in the truck that I'm in. I'ma put her back in the truck that I'm in. Yeah, baby, can you taste the chronic? We could go to LA, Benny honest. You could tryna act, girl, but I'm on. You could tryna act, girl, but I'm on. I ain't get the grabbing on her, I ain't tryna snatch on her. I'm knowing how this will go off, I keep on snapping on her. Never been out of space, baby, let's take off. Baby, let's blast off, take off in a rocket. Like it when you on me like that, yeah. I like it when you grab me like that, yeah. I like it when you act like no other, but you know I'm a motherfucker, but you still let me hit without a rubber, okay? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's get some more drinks going. Yeah, keep going.
A3, what's cooking?
Traded bitch, damn, she down number 5. How you ain't know, be on your side. How you ain't know that I would never lie. If I'm being honest, niggas should've died. She like being honest, wish I never cried. Just don't come back on this side. My old bitch wish that I died. My new bitch want me on time. I really like how this gon' go. Shawty too bad could be involved. Baby, do that and eat my soul. Green light, but that red light, let's go. I gotta move slow-mo. I'ma get her ass right on the charge, right? Gotta stop me, cause she getting on my pipe. But she keep on saying that she want more. I gotta thank God it's over. I gotta thank
I was camping actually. No complaints really though.
Yeah, I know a handful of cultivators only at least 2%
effects. Really go long strong. 11. This
really comes through at 480.
Yeah, so decent sized dab here, not nothing crazy, but let's see what we got here. Let's drop it in.
I think when I was working at one of the dispos, they said the recommendation of the training for like a standard size dab was the size of a pencil tip.
Pencil tip.
Yes. So I would say that's a fairly large dab in the eyes of that.
Yeah, so decent sized dab here, not nothing crazy, but what we got here. Let's drop it in.
I think when I was working at one of the dispos, they said the recommendation of the training for like a standard size dab was the size of a pencil tip. Yes. So I would say that's a fairly large dab in the eyes of that.
Yeah, they also tell you that you should start off with like 2 milligrams.
Yeah.
Warning, everything on this channel and videos for education. This is the real thing. We're going to break down THCA as a whole.
Exist after decarboxylation. Tested while it's still under that 0.3%, then they can legally sell it as hemp. But they might have to do some things that you're not really a fan of to make sure that this flower doesn't break the law. One trick is to just harvest early. So they might harvest these plants before the THC has had time to fully develop. Or sometimes they'll just try to dry the flower in really cold rooms. Or even worse, they'll just freeze dry the flower when it's fresh. And neither one of these seem freeze dried, but that will happen sometimes. And that's because as weed naturally cures, just like the room temps and the drying and like the natural heat from the environment, that naturally decarbs the weed, converting some of that THCA into THC. And they want to get this stuff tested before any of that conversion or that decarbing has happened. And that's where you might run into the freeze drying, because another trick is a super fast cure, or skipping curing entirely with something like freeze drying. And freeze drying can completely wreck the smell and flavor of your buds, but it can be used to help prevent that THCA from degrading into THC.
So yes, essentially this is the same plant, but oftentimes they're getting lower THC cultivars and they're pulling them a little early. They're rushing them out and they're making sure that they're able to test low enough in the THC realm, specifically staying in THCA, so it can bypass this law. Now this oftentimes will lead to lesser quality compared to what we have in legal states, or if you're a home grower.
This kind of stuff is all about passing that 0.3% test, and it's absolutely not about growing the best bud possible. Because even though this loophole is clever and it does help people in states where the laws aren't very good, and all of the THCA that is there will convert to regular THC as soon as you put your lighter to it. I mean, that's all it takes is a little decarb. Sure, there's all of those good points, but there are some major trade-offs. Harvesting early means that some of your cannabinoids and terps never fully develop. So you might be missing out on some of that couch lock feeling that you're used to from fully developed trichomes. Also, that rushed cure can wreck your flavor and wreck your terpenes. And A that is there will convert to regular THC as soon as you put your lighter to it. I mean, that's all it takes is a little decarb. Sure, there's all of those good points, but there are some major trade-offs. Harvesting early means that some of your cannabinoids and terps never fully develop. So you might be missing out on some of that couch lock feeling that you're used to from fully developed trichomes. Also, that rushed cure can wreck your flavor and wreck your terpenes. And in the game of THCA, you don't have a lot of time to cure and sit around and wait, because all that whole time you're curing, legal THCA is just naturally converting to illegal THC. So this is real weed. It's just treated real weird to make sure that it fits through this Farm Bill legal loophole. The THCA that is there will convert to normal THC as soon as you heat it up with your lighter, but that does not mean that this is the same quality flower that you would get elsewhere. And in my experience, the quality has been all over the place. I've had some of this stuff that was pretty good and some of this stuff that was pretty horrible. But if your state laws are horrible too, this could be a game changer. Whereas if you have a legal industry in your state, this would probably seem like a downgrade to you.
So it only made sense to try some that was some of the most popular in the market. And a lot of people would say that because they're influencer brands, they're not the best option, but one is from Bay Smokes. Bad choice! And one is a trusted, well-known brand at this point. Now, the first that came to mind, honestly, was Eric Kahn, but I couldn't find his product online for some reason. Maybe the moldy situation. Hopefully he changed things up and is kind of getting out of that or doing some quality control. So then the next thought was Dope as Yola, and he's got a line that a lot of people speak very highly of. So I grabbed some of his, and I also grabbed some from Mr. THC, which his brand is called Hella Slumped. And for some reason, the packaging is like a cup of lean for his. So I'm not super stoked on that, but hey, you know, do your thing, brother. Not gonna hate on you. Both seem like legit brands according to their website. The cost was a bit higher than I anticipated, especially given that this is low THC bud and lower quality bud, but it was delivered to the door nonetheless. So I called my fellow weed snob and I decided it's time for us to give this a shot and see what it's really about.
We got some home growers, some hardcore consumers who are gonna try THCA for the first time. We got
The Dopest Genetics from Dopajola and Mr. THC, who's not THCA, is hella slumped. Picked up Strawberry Cough and Gelato. These are two that I'm familiar with, which is why I wanted to try them. So I'd be like, all right, this ain't.
Heard of these strains before?
You've never heard of Strawberry Cough?
Oh, well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's not even in the family.
Not the brand necessarily.
Well, this is.
I'm completely. I mean, I've heard THCA 1,000 times. I feel like it's not hype, but like, kind of like what we were just talking about. Like, there's these hype trends or hype things that people get on, and so it's like, oh, and like I've heard a lot of people, oh, I'm hitting the THCA cart, all this other stuff. So it's like, you know, you hear enough about it, it's like, all right, put up or shut up, I guess. You know?
Well, and especially everybody saying that this is real, that this is just regular flour, and that we're idiots, and that this is a loophole that people are utilizing. So we're hardcore consumers. We consume a lot, and we also have been growers for like 20 years. So it's got to be something that really hits the palate or really stands out. And if this is the loophole, I guess we've been legal this whole time and you and I didn't know. They weren't cheap, man. They weren't cheap. These were $35 a piece for the 3.5.
Because of fancy packaging.
So initially I didn't anticipate to spend as much as I did on this video because I assumed an alternative to regular flour would be more affordable. But it turns out this loophole has given the ability for some brands to charge crazy top tier prices that you would see in most legal stores, which to me seems like highway robbery, but do you, boo-boo, ain't you hustle. I can't afford that. It's crazy. Initial reaction is this smells like gelato. Not crazy, but it smells like gelato. And it feels like dispensary bud. No? Check that one out. That's a little better.
I mean, they're both pretty midsy, bro.
Oh, it's very mids. No matter how you paint this. This is how I look at it. Is people are. That's not how we're reviewing this. For the criteria of testing this, Trey clearly didn't understand. I just wanted to see if this was actually real bud. What people have been consistently saying to me. Is this actual bud or some sort of spice D8 alternative crap gas station flour that is just a knockoff and a temporary outlet, we'll say? There's something to it.
There's
where
a
it's
tinge
like,
to it, and so for me, THCA I've only ever experienced in isolate form. So if there's a way that this is somehow, I don't want to say coated, but saturated with more so THCA than full spec, then I don't know. Is that the tinge that we're smelling?
What I'm understanding.
Like it does smell like this smells more like
bud
along the lines of the genetic.
Let's say you're living in Texas. It's not legal to get the shit there, so you're getting either the brick or you're getting this. First impression right away.
Yeah, that's circumstantial, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying. First impression right away, this is better than the brick of the smell and impression. But for 35 for the 8, it's just fucking steep. Like 20 bucks. This smells like earthy and a little bit of piney, but just like a planty.
I'm just saying.
And this smells more like a sweet.
Sticking out to my nose, I guess. Whatever that might be.
This smells sweet like a gelato, but they both have like a cough, not a cough medicine, but like a. Like there was a powdered handling, yeah, like nitrate gloves.
Yeah, so I don't know. And maybe it could be the Mylar. I don't know. Because of our tolerance and our consumption rate, right? Let's say you go to the dispo, you pay $12.50 for an 1/8 comparable. You're not gonna get any more high than you would off of this.
No.
So,
but we're not talking someone in a legal state.
No, I know. My point to you is this. Placebo bud is placebo bud is the feeling that I'm kind of getting out of it. We'll see if that has flavonoid and it hits and it gives you that entourage effect, then maybe it'll be okay. But if it doesn't, then it's just like any blunt we've smoked before where it gets halfway through and we're like, nope.
Now, quick disclaimer, we are trying this for scientific purposes only and for documentary purposes only. Anything done here is by professionals, 100% professionals. Do not try this at home. Now, we'll say.
Didn't you roll it too tight?
I rolled it a little too tight. But not even. It's just like the bud, it's like shit that isn't cured all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like once you grind it up, it becomes a little putty-y. And it doesn't like have that dry texture, and that could be because they're prepackaging it and it's storing it in a place, and it's just there's no cure to it. It's just being preserved. And that seems to be the trend. Hurry up and get it in the bag. And maybe that works for some, but honestly, most of us growers and consumers know that a proper dry and a proper cure are definitely important when it comes to a proper effect. If we don't have all the cannabinoids activated and working together for that synergistic entourage effect, then it's just going to go through the motions. We're not necessarily going to get the medicinal or recreational effect that we're after. Is this real? It's all AI.
I know. I'm like, that's the question, bro. It's like, is it real? It's as real as you want it to be. It's a matrix effect. It's a matrix weed. Like, it's not really here, but it's here. It's just here if you believe that it is and you're plugged in. If you're not plugged in, then it's not. I see you over there.
Bro, I just rolled a blunt before this. The smoke just fine.
Well, no, I think you're right about the texture. Holy crap.
Like, you feel it putty like in there?
Well, you rolled it too tight. But yes, it's like the compactness on this is like...
that shit feels like it's going to be worse.
You know how they do pre-rolls. Blend the ever-loving shit out of it, you know? And then you're sitting there with a headache about it.
Yeah, is it good? No, it's not. It's not good. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It's not good smoke.
Oh, that's like hemp, bro.
Yeah, it does have a hempy taste to it. But again, if this is what they're claiming it is, then this is early pulled bud. You know what I'm saying? This is bud that needed to go longer and was pulled at 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Bro, that reminds me, you remember those hemp cigarettes that we used to have at the shop?
The green fucking, yeah.
And I thought it was cool because it's like, oh, it's not a cigarette. No.
I don't know how to explain this, but it does not taste like authentic weed. But it also tastes like premature weed. It's like, again, they immediately pull it and they toss it in the bag right away. Yeah, I think I'm all set on this. This was
I don't want that again.
Like,
thank you. Sorry about your blunt, but
yeah.
Do you have another one you want to waste?
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, for the sake of trying this all out to actually get an experience out of it and our effect, for science, obviously, we had to consume more. And for the first time maybe in history, I was dreading it. I didn't like it at all. Overall, it was just a waste of my time and a waste of my life. Would I consider this bud? Yes. But it's bad bud. So for 35 at 8 for mids, I guess it's legal in your state, but it's very midsy flower. So it's not necessarily going to be something that's worth it, but if you can't get anything else and you're fiending to smoke, I guess it's okay.
There's so many levels, bro. You're like, and if you...
and if you're missing 2 toes and you recently fell... It's sunny outside.
And you have popcorn lung.
You eat a little salad with it, man. I took the filter out. It's just not good weed. That's what I would put it as. Would I call this fake?
Tasted like oregano a little bit.
Well, you ate some weed with it. Our palates just must be dramatically different because this tastes like bud to me, just premature bud. Like planty premature bud. But it definitely, like, you could not give me this and be like, that ain't a real weed. I'd be like, what? But I think they're taking the same genetics, like they could take the Chill Out OG, the FTS collab, fucking any name you could think of genetics and put those out and just pull it early. I think that's what they're doing.
I don't really feel anything, to be honest.
No.
Because I was sober when we started this.
I took a couple hits off a blunt that I had this morning at 9, okay?
Okay, well, I'm just saying around 11 I was trying to smoke. I was like, no, let me not smoke because we trying to taste this diet. Could be placebo weed.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to be like, do I have like a behind the eye? Like that you literally... Ugh. I don't want any more of this one. That's gross. This is way better. It still is not good. It still tastes like something else now that I hit it again. So, general consensus, is THCA real bud?
Not the real bud that I know.
I'm talking like real bud, bro. I'm not talking like, that ain't shit that's good weed. I'm talking like...
Ripping and dry. If it's coming from like an actual rig, fuck no. Like an actual rig, I need water, bro. You're crazy. An actual rig, 110 million% need water in that bitch. If you're gonna dry rig like a fucking mothership, you're a sick fuck. You're a sick fuck, man. Pluto the Kid. What's good, bro? Thanks for the 100 bits. Pretty much. I'll round up for you. What's good, Eric? First time catching the stream, but big fan of the videos. It's the first stream for a lot of people, bro. It's the first stream. It's like the 3rd comment that I've seen. It's the first stream. What is it about the Sundays? I think it's the Sunday scaries, man. I think it's the Sunday scaries. Listen, it's fucking... It's almost noon on a Sunday on the West Coast. That's like prime time to get high. That's the prime time to get high right there. I like that. Tuned in on Twitch and YouTube. Just got an Owie disposable lychee ice. An Owie. O-W-E-E. I like that, man. Tuning in from Washington. Shout out Seattle, Washington. Shout out. I don't know what else is going on in Washington, but shout out to them, man, for real. That's incredible. I remember when you weren't on the Puffco Dry Dabs, for real. Damn, he said I'm an OG. Nah, 100%. I do remember that time. I do remember that time. Not too many people work on a Sunday. I feel that. I feel that. I mean, it kind of depends on what job you work. Like 9 to 5s don't really work on Sundays, but bro, when I was working at like Maggiano's, when I was working at Popeyes, like I work Sundays all the time, you know? When you're working like retail, like I was, you know, you work Sundays all the time. You should do a midnight stream gaming soon. Oh, a midnight stream for gaming soon. Any dispensaries with hash holes in Denver near Aurora? I am not an all-knowing. I am not all-knowing. I wish I was. I would hit up Weed Maps or fucking Plug.io or there's like a couple websites. I think Leafly does that shit, man, which is pretty cool. That's good stuff right there. I remember when you'd vlog in Colorado. I just had a little girl that was that sounds like I had a child. I had a little girlfriend. Yeah, she was my girlfriend. I had a little girlfriend that lived over there for a little bit. It was a good time. It was a good time. Decent lady. Decent lady. Yo, what's good, bro? What the fuck's your problem, man? What the fuck's your problem over there? Get a dry top off you, cause wait, I got a dry top off cause of you, cause of Amazon. You got a dry top on Amazon? What the fuck? That's kind of awesome. Yeah, Amazon has like fake, weird, not fake, but like it has smoke stuff, but it's not called smoke stuff. Like it won't be called a Puffco glass attachment. It'll be called like glass accessory art piece, and like it's like super generic, but they sell shit on Amazon, bro. I got a pack of dab tools on Amazon. I got a pack of like 10 dab tools on Amazon the other day for like fucking $20. $2 dab tool? I don't think that exists. You can go to the smoke shop right now and they're selling those same things for 10 bucks a piece. Minimum selling them for $10 a piece, bro. I got them for $2. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that absolutely incredible, man? Did the Texas THC ban affect you? You're gonna have to find out on our second most recent video. Make sure to check out the channel. We answer all of your questions. I answer all of your questions. I might even bait another video. I'm not gonna lie. I might even bait another video over the next couple weeks. Should be a good time.
I had 18 months now.
I get off probation in 3 months. Can't wait to smoke again. I had 18 months. 18 months of probation. Damn, and you're on month 15? That's fucked, bro. Anyone else dealing with some probe? It's fucked. I'll take a bong rip for you, bro. I'll take a bong rip for you, FTP Dill. I appreciate you big time. Thanks for the 4. What have you been doing with your time, bro? What have you been doing with your money? You know, I feel like if you're not spending money on bud, that just like unlocks some cash flow almost. Like, what you doing with your extra funds, bro? What you doing with your extra funds, man? Stacking up. More than a goddamn year. That's what I'm saying, Skyler. 18-month probation is crazy. What did you do? What did you do? What did you have on you? Did you get caught for some weed bullshit? That's the worst, man. Hate Texas weed laws. I live in Wyoming and I'm always dealing with this shit. Best of luck, bro. Colorado's definitely the move. Is Colorado the move? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what's good. Ties. Damn, fighting a felony right now. That's so fucked up. The system, man. Fuck the system. Can we get a quick fuck the system in the chat for this next bong rip? Can we get a quick fuck the system? I think that's appropriate because anyone, no matter what state, no matter what country you live in, you can agree that it's fuck the system. You know what I mean? The system just tries, it's out to get you. You know what I mean? It's trying to make you slip up. It's trying to catch you. It's trying to drain your money. It's trying to drain your happiness, man. Just know that. The system is trying to drain your happiness. And fuck that. Fuck that. Yeah, we rise against the system type shit. You know what I mean? We fight back. That's what it's all about over here. That's what it's all about over here. Yeah, look at all the fuck the systems in the chat. That's fucking beautiful. I can't lie. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Might be one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, man. Cheers, everybody. I appreciate you. Last bong rip out of this piece, most likely, and then we're gonna switch her up. And then we're gonna switch her up. They can't even get the facts right. Nah, facts. Fuck the system. Let's go with it. Woo! Hey! Damn. Bro, do not sleep with that pillow. Kento nutted in it. That's Kento's bed, man. It's literally Kento's bed. It's weird. He doesn't really hump like anything else. He definitely doesn't hump people. Like, I've never seen him hump a person before. He doesn't hump my pillows, but he fucks up couch pillows. He loves a good square couch pillow, bro, and he loves his bed. Like, he's had 3 different beds. He's fucked the shit out of all of them, you know? And not just, like, a couple fucks. Like, he fucks them, you know what I mean? He's kind of fucked up. Dreezy, what's good? Sometimes I be missing that cheating bitch. Can I get a fuck that bitch? Sometimes I be missing. Damn, dude, that's how it be, you know what I mean? That's how it be. Missing the people that have done you wrong. That's valuable, you know, that things happen. W Respectful King, yeah, he's a good guy. No fucking right now. He's a good dude, man. I like it. Can we get a meet and greet in Oklahoma? We damn near had 2 of them. Wait, I think we only had 1. We actually only had 1. I'm lying. But that was a good time though. That was like 2-3 years ago, dude. You remember living in Texas, playing in Warzone and streaming? I do remember living in Texas. I'm living in Texas right now. But yeah, nah, I remember, dude. Tell me about it. Are you gonna ethically breed Kento at some point? Yes, that's like the whole point. Like, he would already be snipped if not. But nah, I've been trying to find a girl Shiba for years. Couldn't find one in LA. Straight up couldn't find one in LA. I would always find other male Shibas. Like, I probably ran into like 4 or 5 other Shibas, like, just like in the wild in LA. And I was like, yo, is your Shiba a girl? And they're like, no. Like, I'm also looking for a girl. Every single one. And I was like, what? I should have got a girl dog, you know? Then I can like keep the puppies type shit, you know? Because I think you just slut him out in like a weird way. Like, I think I just whore Kento out. Like, I gotta like give him, like, I give him up for like a day or like a couple hours and he just fucks. And then I come pick him up and then I get like 1 or 2 puppies, or maybe I get puppies at a discounted price. I don't know how it works, to be honest with you. I think it's called a stud fee, or it's called a stud. So like, instead of them paying you, you just get a puppy or 2, or you can work something out, or you get half. I don't think you ever get half the litter. That's kind of lit though. That's like a OG ass deal. Because I think, I mean, it just kind of depends. Because I think the mom dog has to like obviously raise him for a few weeks, right? So like, whoever owns the dog has to like raise a batch of puppies for a minute. So I don't know. Bro's pimping out Kento? Chill, dude. I think that's literally what you do. Usually you get 1 to 2 puppies for free. Hey, I fuck with that. I'm down for that. That's a good little fee right there. I'll take that all day. 1 or 2? I guess it depends on how big the litter is. Right? It's not called a litter, right? What's it called for dogs? A pack? I don't know. The group of them. I mean, if it's more than 5, I would like 2. You know what I mean? If there's 6 puppies, I'll take 2 for damn sure. Oh, UPS package got delivered today. That's exciting, man. Ketamine is amazing. What? It's fucking awesome. Shout out to the cat, man. Shout out to the cat. That's insane. If you're the male, first you pimp out girls, now dogs. What the fuck? That's some allegations and shit, man. Is being a pimp illegal? I think it is, right? You're like human trafficking and shit, damn near. Yeah, I don't do all that, man. I don't do all that. Pimping out a girl is crazy. Nah, that's insane. That's insane.
You have been ingested. Vital signs stable.
makes movies. Universal makes movies. Okay, movies get huge budgets because they raise money from investors. Investors get money from usually advertisers because advertisers want to show off their Coca-Cola cans in the movie. That's where the money flows down from. So the big budget stuff comes from Universal, for example. Then it goes to the Universal Music because they need music for the movies they produce. And then it goes to the contributor in this case. But that world is a very different world. And yeah, so hit up Clint Music. We did an interview with him. Hit up XJWill on Instagram. They can give you more detailed information. Oh, yeah, I answered that earlier. This is from Realize. That's funny. Real Eyes Realize Real Lies. It says, what's your recommendation for specifications on a PC processor RAM? What do you recommend? I'll just tell you what I have. This Mac Mini Pro. Yeah, Mac Mini Pro. It's like the size, it's like this big. It's so small, smaller than a laptop. And it sits on my desk. And I bought my display monitor separate, which is cheaper than buying a MacBook. And I bought the wireless keyboard and the trackpad from Apple because I didn't want a third-party trackpad. Okay, so those are the accessories. Now the specs, you know, I'm running 24 gigs of RAM. I think that's a minimum because just 24 gigs of RAM. What RAM is like space on a computer. Like your applications, when you open up an application, it takes up space. Like I didn't understand this until I went to the task manager one time. My computer was tripping and I went to the memory tab and I said, oh, FL Studio takes up a gig of RAM because it literally takes up a gig of space in this thing. I never understood that until like this year. So yeah, RAM allows you to open up more applications at the same time because they all take up space. So that's the easier way to think about RAM. Now, unless you're gonna have 50 programs open, I don't really see a real life scenario where that would happen. So I don't really understand more than 24 gigs of RAM. Unless you're like a composer who loads up really large content libraries in Kontakt, because that could also eat up your RAM too, those Kontakt libraries. But yeah, 24 gigs of RAM is my answer. I'm not a PC person, so I don't know everything about PC. The processor, again, I'm on a Mac Mini Pro 4. So anything comparable, I would stay away from Intel because their company is not doing so well in the stock market, which means the future of their company is not so sturdy. What else is in a Mac? I have no idea. We did RAM. I don't know about the video card, so for that, I just can't give you an answer. And my internal storage is 2 terabytes, but I live stream video production and I got like a gazillion sounds. So unless you're like me, where you need to do video editing, live streaming, and music production, you know, I think 2 terabytes is, or yeah, I'd say 2 terabytes is safe. I should have gotten 4 terabytes though, to be honest, for what I do. But yeah, you want more internal storage because it helps the computer breathe. A lot of people, they have a small amount of internal storage and they have to constantly buy external hard drives. And it's just, your workflow will be killed because you can't keep pulling from different hard drives. You're gonna eat up all your USB slots for making beats and stuff. Now, if you're mixing, that's different because you're just storing stuff. As a producer, we not only write to these hard drives, we read from the hard drives. So it's a different thing. Could you rate your song on Spotify? We do that every Friday in our Discord. We'll go live on YouTube. Can you give... So for everybody asking about computer stuff on PC, if you check my YouTube, let me just show you guys again. I mean, it's better to show you than to try to tell you. But if you guys go to my posts on YouTube, I shared a while ago the community tab, but I think they call it post. They call it post now. So if you scroll down, oh wait, that's not it. Go to posts, go to youtube.com/busyworksbeats, go to the post tab and then scroll, keep scrolling. And eventually you're gonna come across a video where I shared the people that I respect about giving their opinions about music production, computer building. So you're gonna have to scroll for a while, but it's gonna be worth it. I didn't realize Young Tank, we shared it. I forgot about that. Give me a second, y'all. Loading up all these videos and posts. Man, I didn't realize how much I post on here. Keep scrolling. Where is this thing? Man, it's far back. Okay, so all the way 8 months back. I'll share you guys links here in the chat. But 8 months ago, Ben G. Kaiser made a video about the best DAW laptop, or the best DAW laptops in 2024. So I'll send that to the chat real quick. Now, one caveat is that I didn't know this until this year too, is that when you guys are trying to buy computers for production, understand that laptops have one problem that cannot be solved, and that is they overheat. So you want to be extremely understanding that when you buy a laptop, no matter how much money you spend on it, the number one flaw is that they overheat, which kills your whole FL Studio, kills your video recordings, kills everything. So you got to be really careful not to buy a laptop most of the time, unless you plan to be portable from studio to studio. I'd recommend you guys, if you have a music studio where you're stationary, look into desktops or even the Mac Mini type of approach where your computer is literally this big. It's not this big tower of a PC. It's like a very small thing. Because again, laptops, the one problem they have inherently is just overheating, which is a huge problem. Okay, because again, you could have the best specs and then it overheats, and then you have this thing called kernel or whatever it's called, and that thing eats up 200% CPU and you can't do anything. So it doesn't matter how good your processor is. Will you interview Bobby Owsinski? I mean, I never thought about it, but if he's open to it, for sure, we'll go live. I gotta add him on Instagram, Bobby Owsinski. I used to love his mixing tips videos. He was like, give you a mixing tip in a minute. He was doing shorts before shorts were a thing. Alex says, can you help me find out free sounds for melodies? Again, I already covered that before. I didn't realize Jeff was trying to DM me on Discord. My bad, Jeff. Free, Jeffrey. Phenomenon says, never have beat block. Thanks for the help with FL Studio. My question is how to add my vocals with the Fruity Edition. You know, I'm not on the Fruity Edition enough to know the limitations there. Let me see here. Does it have an audio track? I have to pull up. If you go to their website, there's a page called Compare Features for FL Studio. Let me just share with you guys. Why am I not sharing it? Give me a second. So here's the page. This gives you all the differences between the versions. I'd recommend the Producer Edition for like the majority of use cases. You can always buy the plugins you like over time from the image line. Okay, so it looks like you have no audio recording. Okay, I did not know that. Interesting. That's interesting. So yeah, I would just go with if you're already stuck on the Fruity Edition, I'm pretty sure they have some kind of discount to upgrade to Producer Edition. You definitely want to have that ability, especially if you're a recording artist. I really can't understand any edition outside of the Producer Edition for FL Studio, including the higher editions. Where are good free melodies sounds hiding? I mean, it's really about expression, you guys. It's like when you hear a sound, you'll hear a sound, but you got to learn sound design, mixing, and expression. Expression is the number one thing you guys are just missing. Like I could play it this way. Which is a decent melody, but what if I add some pitch bending? Even if it's not so aggressive,